women don't need a lot to feel value from men. If she is using something against you that you've been vulnerable about, it is because you are not creating value in that relationship. You must, and I coach with this, you must be everything to everyone. Period. The world will tell you different. The world will tell you, you don't have to be everything to everyone. You can be a very emotional, vulnerable creature, all these things, blah, blah, blah. And you can talk about your feelings and yes, you can, but you can do it in a productive and constructive way.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is your first time here. I'm Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker, and you have found Old Guys Still Rock, better known as OGSR. And I'm a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate here in the beautiful, beautiful Coachella Valley. We were having a ripe 110 today. And on my left, yeah, it's hot. It is just not fun hot. And on my left, possibly your right, my good friend, and I don't really want him to call a co-host, but he's also a host, so he's a co-host. I might be the co-host today. I don't know, but a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated, man with many, many different hats over the course of time, the 30 years that I've almost known him. He was working before that, but body shops, detail shops, payroll companies. Him and his wife just a couple of years ago just opened up a wellness center, multiple property owner, just started a new venture with a couple of his buddies, bustedtees.com. So if you are looking for t-shirts, hats, whatever, we put it on last week's episodes, but bustedtees.com. As soon as I get done introducing him, he probably maybe have a little special, but they're doing gangbusters right off the bat. Go figure. You get a bunch of smart guys that are willing to work together and share ideas, and they come together and they can make some work. I'm not saying it's all rainbows and roses, but it's working. So how are you doing, my dude? What is going on in the beautiful world of Eugene, Oregon today?
Well, it's supposed to be 73 today. It was 77 yesterday and 57 and raining a half inch tomorrow and Saturday.
God.
57 in June. Like it's supposed to be the first day of summer here any day, and we're going to have 57 degrees. I'm going to light a fire in the wood stove on Friday night.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yep.
I would love to have 50. The lowest we get right now is right around 75. And that's
at night in the middle of the night.
No, like around about 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I pop up, I open all the windows and start running some fans, get a little bit of fresh air there. So you're not just breathing air conditioning air for a while, but it's just, it's kind of that time of year, but it's been relatively, I mean, for the most part, even though they were having high temperatures here in the desert now, the mornings have been reasonably pleasant, which is nice because come July, it's 82, 85 in the mornings. Doesn't matter what time. And
doesn't your wife actually shut down her business for a month because it's so hot? Nobody shows up. Nobody comes out.
Yeah. It's more expensive because of air conditioning to run the business than so she'll shut down in August. It may be July, August this year, just depending on how business goes. But yeah, just, I mean, no one wants to go outside when it's 120, 115 degrees and it's, 50% humidity. It's just miserable. So you had to work a lot more on the online business, which she's slowly growing. But anyway, she just got done celebrating double nickels. So she turned 55. So to continue the month of June, Chrissy, when you're watching this, happy birthday again. It's been the longest 55 birthday I've ever had in my life. It's not even mine.
Starts on the 1st, goes to the 30th.
I think it even started in May, bro, because we have people, we live in this world that people go away for a little bit. and it was like a luncheon, and then there's a golfing event, and a da 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 da, and a da 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 da, and all of a sudden, I'm like, she's like, we're going out for birthday drinks tonight. I'm like, I just had a birthday lunch. Yeah, but it was this start, and then we had her birthday actually fell on Father's Day, so it was a you know Father's Day and birthday, but it was fun, man. I'm it's a lot, but so that's all done. But what else is going on? How's the t-shirt business?
Good. We're finally up and running. We're able to process payments and all the fun stuff. So it's been quite the journey to learn this. This is a totally new adventure, totally new thing. It's new for me on many levels. Like I was telling one of my partners yesterday, Eric, it's new for me to not be in 100% control of this. to be an investor and to be an operator, but only operating in this lane, not all 8 lanes of the freeway as one. And then waiting for others. I shouldn't say waiting for others, but allowing others to do what they do best. And so I coach that a lot. Hire people smarter than you. Align yourself with people that do what they do best and let them do that. Easy to coach, harder to do.
Amen, right?
Harder to do. So this has been really good for me because it's been a growing and learning experience over the last few months. I mean, this has been 6 months in the making. So this just doesn't happen overnight. It's not like we got a call, hey, you want to buy a t-shirt business? Okay, cool. Write us a check and you can have it tomorrow. Been a long road.
So what we're going to get into today is we're actually going to talk about the art of communication and this. And for just to preface this right now, ladies, if you're watching this or listening to this, give this to your husbands, and husbands, if you're watching this, or boyfriends, whatever, if you're watching this, give it to your ladies. I'm going to share some stuff with you today that I have been noticing, and the reason why I found it so important. But it's going to tie into what Brent talked about. It is removing something that you know that you're good at and delegating it to somebody else and having faith that it's going to be taken care of. But there's an art of communication in that, and that's what we're really going to get into, and feeling safe in that communication. And it's a growing experience. But, another thing too is which, Brent again has done. And there's a lot of Band-Aids and Bactine and bumps and bruises along the way. Right. But here we go into another adventure, but this time he's not, as he said, he's not controlling the thing. And so you got, in essence, a bunch of, I don't want to use the word alphas, but type A personalities co-mingling together. And there's tension in that, some good, some bad. But the great thing about it is that you guys are doing it and knowing that when the moments of, as I said, the bumps and bruises and maybe small failures or whatever, you're doing it regardless of what everybody else thinks. And I think that's the most important thing. Is sometimes we get locked into the world of scarcity and we're like, yeah, it sounds really cool, but how is this going to work? And I'm not used to giving up this and da 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 da. And it's a lot. So congratulations on that. Again, guys, this is not an ad, but it's an ad. So if you're looking for t-shirts on there, go to busted, BUSTED tees.com. And you can actually come up with your own logo and some really cool ish and get it out there. So excited.
Yes, we haven't stood that part of it up yet. That's coming soon. We're going to be able to upload your logo and have us produce your business stuff. But that is the next phase. Right now, Busted Tees is serving a genre-based community, meaning that different, for lack of better words, but the nerd community, the gamers community, is a lot of that is served in there. There's a lot of parody type of t-shirts and hats and fun stuff. So it's super cool. There's a lot of stuff that references cult following movies and things like that. So check that out. We're also going to be doing some giveaways, giving away the very hard to get Nintendo Switch 2 with the Mario Kart add-on. So we just acquired a bunch of those over the last couple of days, and we're going to be giving those away as prizes. I'm not certain the exact details on it, but more to come on bustedtees.com.
There you go.
So thank you for the opportunity to plug that. I really appreciate that. Again, it's a passion adventure for me, not just a monetary investment. Passionate because I'm growing exponentially in this process. And I'm growing not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, leadership wise. So sometimes being a leader, guys, is knowing when to step back and allowing others to lead. That is hard, because typically leader, you think that's an out front position, right? Tip of the spear. We talked about that. But this is a whole different opportunity for Brent to become a better Brent through this process.
Yeah. And that's what we're constantly doing, right? Is trying to become better and not staying for status quo. So strap in, everybody. I'm going to kind of talks about some stuff. I'm going to have Brent help not only me work through it, but possibly, this is going to be good for women. This is good for men. I'm probably going to say some things that press the envelope a little bit. And it's not to call anybody out as in sexes, but it's just coming to a point that God has put this in front of me literally over the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, we're talking about this because obviously you have put these people in my life. And we need to figure out how to make this better, because if I have 4 people coming to me saying they're having the same issue, it's a lot bigger issue because I'm an introvert. I'm not around a lot of people. So anyway, so here's my thing, dude. As I said, I have about 4 people that have come up to me recently, and they are either on the verge or have pulled the trigger on bailing on their relationships because they do not feel that they can, first of all, can communicate. They don't feel like they're being heard. And then they feel when they do communicate, it comes back to them and their spouse. Again, I'm going to put this as neutral, but this is going to be a lot about men. And the reason why I want to talk about this, especially for men, we are in Men's Health Awareness Month in June. For you to know that we have that, males are the highest suicide rate. We already have, last year alone, we had over 50,000 males commit suicide. And a lot of it stems from this because is that on top of all the burdens that we carry now, and again, so don't get, well, women do this too. This is not about right or left right now. Let's just stick with this topic. So on top of all the burdens of carrying a job, being a male, trying to create a lifestyle that is thrown in our faces at all the times. And if we don't do it, then sometimes mentally feel like we failed if we can't get the right house or the right car or go on the right vacation because something happened with work or something happened in life, whatever. There's 1,001 reasons for that reason. But when they try to open up with that and then they share like, okay, you know what, I need to be more vulnerable. What any marriage counselor is going to talk to you, you need to communicate, you need to do this. And then it's shared. Here's the big issue that's coming back that I'm hearing. Okay. This is what I'm hearing, is that it's used later, a month, a year, 2 years later, and it's thrown back in their faces during an argument. And what that does for males is shut them down. They're like, F this, I'm not going to share with you anymore. If you're going to use this against me, what's the point of sharing with you? And so basically they're burning it down. Here's the sad part, and this is where I'm coming to because I've talked about this, and as soon as I'm done with this part, Brent, I'll let you kind of fill in. But is that affairs are starting to happen or thinking about it or leaving because so-and-so listens to me. So-and-so understands where I'm coming from. Well, so does the devil, right? And the devil, and in my belief, this is the devil pulling you away from a covenant of marriage. But and then you guys can have your own beliefs. When I always say the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Yeah. When somebody doesn't have to live with you every freaking day and go through the ish that you go through every day, yes, the grass is greener, but that's not solving the problem. So I'm going to end there because I could go on and on and on about this, and I'm going to come back to it later. But have you been hearing any of this, or is it just, did God put this on my plate and say, hey, dude, you've got a good ear. You listen, people feel safe around you to share with you, which is, thank God for that. I feel blessed in that nature that guys can come to me and talk to me about stuff. But have you been hearing any of this? Have you felt it before?
So I'm going to start with the biggest killer of men under 50 per the CDC is suicide. The second leading killer for men above 50 is suicide. The first one's heart disease. Okay, so let's put that into perspective. 21.6 men for every 100,000 men out there under 50 commit suicide. That's a lot of people. I struggle with this number because we have a lot of resources out there and we have a lot of things. But to your point, we are raised to be silos. We've talked about that before. Don't be a silo. You know, we've beat that thing pretty hard. That's a pretty hard drum we beat almost every episode. I'm just going to get real with this.
Mm-hmm.
This pisses me off really bad because ultimately, if you're saying that you are frustrated, looking outside your marriage, leading astray, doing all the things, whatever it is that you're doing. By the way, guys, cheating is just, even so much as thinking about it is cheating. Okay. Every time that you are looking at porn, that you're all the things, that's cheating. Whatever, it's just BS. You're using the excuse that I am a man and I am unheard, and so therefore I'm going to go do these things. You've heard that concept of a double negative.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make a positive, right? Or a double positive is usually a negative in math, right? So I am having a big problem with this because if you are truly saying I am man and I am not having a good day, or I'm not okay with this scenario, or you're not giving me the things I need, or all these things, then be a freaking man and figure it out. You're supposed to be the leader of yourself, the leader of your household, the leader of your community. We all struggle, every one of us. We all fight demons every single day. We all fight battles that nobody knows about and nobody hears about. Get yourself set up with, hell, come on the show.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Come on the show and talk about it. But get yourself set up with a backdrop of people that can assist you. Stop being a silo. Nobody's a victim until you victimize yourself. All right? So I'm really, really having a hard time with this. Just it's BS. It's an excuse. Yeah. We're not heard. Wow. Get over it. Figure it out. Solve problems. Be the leader that God made you to be and demanded in Scripture that you are to be.
Yes. I'm going to play devil's advocate because someone's going to come back and say this, and these are the things that I'm hearing. 1,000% figure it out, do all that stuff. Don't be a silo. Find 2 or 3 guys to come out through, go through suicide prevention, start going to church, or find something spiritual, whatever. If you don't believe to go into church, there's a lot of avenues for guys. Women, don't beat your guys up if it's taken them a long time, because the more that you beat them up, the longer you keep them in the silo. I'm not saying it is all your fault, because something somewhere has brought them back to they have all this other, I have to be good here, I have to be good here, I have to be good here. When you start failing in your safe spot at your house or wherever you're going to be, and that's being pushed back in your face, that is going to push them to retract. Yes, they're supposed to figure out how to communicate, but when they start going, okay, I'm going to try this, and it gets thrown back in their face, or they didn't do it the right way, or you're critiquing them the way that they're communicating, that is not helping the situation. So as much as patience that we have to have with you and with women, and as much patience as women have to have with men, it's got to work through this. I'm in the process of working through it every day. Sometimes I'm really good. Sometimes I suck ass, and it's just the way it is. And I'm not in it, but I'm not going to go back to which we talked about a couple episodes. It's just the way I am. No, I'm going to try to figure it out. As Brent said, be a man, figure it out, get what you need to do, read a book, go to church, get counseling, go to therapy, whatever that is, whatever that moment or vehicle you need to have to do that. As I said, use us. Brent's a great coach. I'm a good listener. Obviously, I say that, and I'm confident saying that. God does not bring me people and sit them within 2 weeks of 4 different people telling me about certain situations on accident. So maybe it is to share it on the show, but that's where it is. I just think that we have, and keep yourself for like 2 seconds. Yeah. I feel with social media, the BS, and I'm going to try to not get passionate about this, but the BS that is put on reality TV about guys communicating, and it's going to be this, and we're going to do this, and it's all scripted. But some women, not all, some women portray this as reality. Some men portray this as reality. It's bullshit. And it's not true. So do not try to live up what you see on TV and what's making them, stirring the pot. Well, you should do this. Well, that guy does this. Well, this woman does this. That's not true. What's true is what's inside your house. And what's true is 2 people coming together and figuring out. It's not easy. Either building a successful career like Brent has, or being in any type of profession. Everyone pours themselves into that instead of pouring yourself into, which Kyle talked about last week, right? But you got to pull yourself, 80%, 20% into your business and 80% in your family, or are you going to do vice versa?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, go with yourself.
So let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
So if you are properly leading your family and leading your wife, would she have anything to pick at you about? Would she have anything to rebut you about or bring up that you didn't do? So again, go back to, if you are leading your family properly and leading your wife properly, whatever that looks like, whether you have kids or not, doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're going to fail. And what you're saying is when you fail, then you're reminded of it. Mm-hmm. And that's the impasse. That's the problem that happens. So what do you do with that knowledge when you fail and you're reminded about it? Do you throw a pity party? Do you fight with your spouse and say, if you wouldn't do this, I wouldn't then do that? Are you perpetuating the situation? So agreed on a lot of levels, but again, we have to play both sides here, right? So you're playing one side, I'm playing the other. Good Perfect. Cop, bad cop, yeah, right? So
absolutely.
But to my point, if you are, again, properly leading, would your spouse have anything to pick at you about?
No. but I'm going to also go back to this, continue this teeter-totter on this. Who do we have right now that's a good example as a leader in relationships? With people just that's in front of us, normal day, guys not like you and me and some other guys. And we had the Joe Daniels, the Ken McCumbers, and we had some Kyles. I mean, I'm probably going to leave out some names, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Is who do we have in the forefront that's in our face every single day that it is a good leader that is true to heart and sharing examples, and that it's not all butterflies and roses? Because realistically, be honest, besides Andy Frisella, which I'd say that he would go down there, you and I, we're very vulnerable coming out here, talking every week and doing some stuff, knowing that, hey, we suck. We get it. We come back and our spouses will say, hey, you talk about this on the thing, but you're not doing this. And it's like, I understand that. But I guess this is another call to action. Yes, be a leader, but being a leader is not what you're seeing on social media. Being a leader is not what you see that's being portrayed in movies. It's not seeing what you're seeing on reality TV. It is learning by mistakes, what Brent just said, and we've said multiple times, and I know a lot of you guys know, we have freaking super, super smart people that listen to this show, but sometimes we get stuck. Not saying that you're stupid, you're not dumb. You're actually, if you're watching this, probably pretty intelligent for the reason of because you care about how to get better. But again, that's why I said women need to watch this and men need to watch it, which we have a pretty good following of both. But it's learning from, it's living your life, not reality TV life, not social media life, not porn life, and figuring it out. And when I'm telling you this, when I'm talking to you about this is stuff like when people come to you, you start thinking about, okay, how do I get better? Brett and I are talking on the podcast right now, and it's triggering things in our mind like, okay, yeah, I really screwed up on this one. As soon as I'm done with this episode, I'm gonna make some adjustments. I'm gonna tweak some things and get better. So when we're being vulnerable on here, if this is your first time here and we're sharing examples, it's stuff that's going through our minds where we're talking about it literally right in your face and going, yeah, I could probably be a little bit better here or there. So I think the biggest thing, going back to where I first started, is I just don't feel we have that culture that it's around us right now very much, that we have males that can also be vulnerable but leaders at the same time, because we've either been beaten down a lot, or what unreality tries to show us is that this is the way you're supposed to be, and males can't do that. A typical male can't be a reality TV star. It's not scripted. This is real life.
So first assess why you feel beat down, then make an action plan, then communicate that action plan with your spouse and your kids if you have kids. Communicate that action plan with your team if you run a team, and then execute and put in stops, backdrops, if you will, for accountability checks. So if you're fighting with your spouse and they bring up the fact that you said this thing that made you feel vulnerable and they're using it against you, then as a leader, you should say something to the effect of, I gave that to you in confidence and in trust that you would not use that against me. I feel that you're using that against me currently in this current conversation. That is going to produce a result that neither one of us are going to be happy about. Are we sure we want to continue to use that tool in this discussion? toughest phrase, sentence, summary that I've ever had to personally use. Because your first reaction, so in one of our coaching sessions today, we talked about Crucial Conversations, the book. Okay? Crucial Conversations process is agree, build, and contrast. Most people go to contrast first, fight, bicker, argue, bring up what the other person did wrong in the situation, all of those things. We typically don't agree first. So as a leader, you must learn to utilize these tools in an effective manner. We've talked about emotional intelligence on here. Have emotional intelligence. Recognize that that person probably isn't picking at you. They're probably picking on something that is negligible or negligent in them. Okay?
Yeah.
So they are picking on something that is a problem for them inside them. And you have to slow this process down. It's not easy when you're in the heat of the moment, especially with somebody that you care about, because we all hurt the ones we love the most because we're most comfortable with them. They're the easiest to attack because they're always going to be there no matter what I say, no matter what I do, until they're not. Do you want your actions and your words to drive that person away forever? Ask yourself that in each situation before you respond. Learn how to follow the Crucial Conversations pattern. I agree with some things that you've said here during this conversation, and I disagree with some of the others. I think we can build on this process and build on this discussion, and then we can evaluate it and provide contrast. Did that work? Did that not work during this? Are you willing to follow this process in this conversation?
Big.
Again, the toughest thing ever,
Yeah.
right? Because what you want to do is be like, you did this to me, and you did this to me, and you said this, and you're trying to use this against me. Be a freaking leader. I'm telling you, it is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. I'm very passionate. You can see I move my hands when I talk. I'm very passionate. I'm very emotional. I become very strategic in my contrast. I have an eidetic memory. I remember just about everything that somebody did wrong to me. And I'm good at bringing it up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm good at bringing it up in a way that's hurtful, that's hateful, that's spiteful. But I have to remind myself, did this produce any fruit in the past? Or was this a dead tree that I kept trying to nurture and pull fruit out of that was never going to bear fruit? So I have to change my ways. If I want the tree to bear fruit, I have to change the way that I tend it. I have to be a good shepherd of my flock. My flock meaning my wife and my children.
I think you said something really, really good right there at the end, and I'm going to put it, maybe I'm obviously put different words on it than you just said it. But this is what I heard you say, is that I'm going to attempt to change. Where's I going with this?
I have to force myself to change.
I have to force,
or else I'll continue to get what I've always got.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too, is that that's what I was going with it. You're wanting the people that are in this route to, the people that are in the route that, you know what, I'm just not happy in my relationship right now, And, the grass is a little bit greener on the other side. This person's giving me more attention, blah, 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 blah. You're wanting the person that you're just not seeing eye to eye with change, but you're not allowing yourself to change. And what Brent just said is, it's super hard for us to go through this process and really of just like being scripted almost. This is how it's going to be. So I can get my thoughts out there, because in the heat of the moment, words are being exchanged. It's not fun. Couples fight. Couples say things that they shouldn't say. Business, and it's the same thing in business relationships. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you say things you shouldn't say. But having this list of things, and maybe Brent, we could get that list and post it on here. I don't know, but
Just Google Crucial Conversations book.
There you go. Crucial Conversations book. Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Use the book.
Use the book. Go through
Live
it.
the book. Be the book.
There's a lot of stuff out there, and then listen to this podcast every week. But I think that that's what really stood out for me is like, you're getting mad because the person that you are involved with or a relationship, man or woman, it doesn't matter what side you are, you're wanting them to be different, but in the same sense as, this is a question to ask yourself, are you doing things that you're evolving? Or are you going, well, this is what happened the last time, so I'm gonna MF you all day because you did this in the past, and this is like, why do you keep doing this? And then also understand that people may not be evolving or progressing at the same rate that you are. And sometimes you're going to...
That's a game changer to understand,
right?
that.
And it's a
right?
lot. And there's different seasons for different people. And some people are on a fast track for a little bit, and you may be left behind, or your spouse may be left behind. And on both sides, you can't treat them differently because you're fast tracked to a different point of life that other person hasn't got to yet. And if that's used against you, and that goes back to, again, it doesn't matter if it's man or woman that we're talking about here, but if it's used against you later on in life, how are you expecting for change to happen? Because then it comes back to what Brent says. It's like, you did this, or keeping receipts, and you're throwing it back in somebody else's face. Like, well, remember when you did this? Well, now I'm doing this, and now it's not okay, and da-da-da-da. And that's what I'm going to, some people call it the dark forces. I'm just going to call it Satan. Satan wants you to be in a constant battle of turmoil and fighting. And so when he finds that weak little spot where things are going too smoothly and Satan is not around, he's like, F this, I'm coming in and I'm and I'm going to rustle up the water, and I'm going to mess it up, and I'm going to get people, and they're going to trigger that past, and someone's going to throw it in the mix, and then they're going to put gasoline on it, and then they're going to throw a match on it, and it gets into it. And what Brent said, with this book, say the book one more time.
Crucial Conversations.
Crucial Conversations. That's like, wait a second. Brent and Blair told me about this book, or I got this book and haven't picked it up to read it yet, about this Crucial Conversations. Let this podcast be a trigger in your mind somewhere now or somewhere down the future, is to, okay, I've got to pull this back. I've got to say, how's this conversation? Is this going to lead us to a positive or a negative outcome to it? How do we make it into a positive and go through that? But what you also said, it sounds very easy, right? Here are two guys giving you some advice, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds super simple, but when you get to the part of it, how hard was it for you to get to that point? Are you still, and this is a question to you, Brent, how hard was it for you to get to that point? And do you still struggle with it from time to time?
I'm better. I would tell you that if I had to ask my wife, she would tell you that I'm probably 80 to 85% better than I've ever been.
Okay.
I wouldn't give myself that much credit. I would tell you that internally, I still struggle with that. The one thing that came to my mind as you were talking was, don't just buy the book. Be a leader and read the book with your spouse. there would be no harm in you guys spending 20 minutes together once a week, twice a week. You read 10 minutes, she reads 10 minutes. I guarantee you that she is going to feel valued. She's going to find value in you. She's not going to take your vulnerability and use it against you. If you are actively pursuing a direct relationship with her in a way that feels like you are a shepherd tending to your flock, or a gardener tending to your fruit tree, or whatever analogy you want to use. Women don't need a lot to feel value from men. If she is using something against you that you've been vulnerable about, it is because you are not creating value in that relationship. You must, and I coach with this, you must be everything to everyone. Period. The world will tell you different. The world will tell you, you don't have to be everything to everyone. You can be a very emotional, vulnerable creature, all these things, blah, blah, blah. And you can talk about your feelings and yes, you can, but you can do it in a productive and constructive way. The other problems that I wrote down were when you deviate from your regularly scheduled program, meaning you step out of the relationship. We outlined earlier that even thinking about it's cheating. Okay? Unless you fix you, when you move on, you're going to take you with you. You're the broken link in the chain. So you're going to take this brokenness and take it over to a new relationship, and it's going to feel really cool and fun for a little while. And then you're going to break that too, because really you're just a shitty leader. You're not leading yourself. You're not leading your spouse. You're not leading your family. You're not leading your community. And the reason why I've gotten a little bit aggressive during this talk is because this really pisses me off, because suicide is the weakest way out of a solution. It's giving up. It is weak thinking. It so frustrates me that people just want to take the easy button and the easy way out. We've talked about the easy button before. We've never talked about it in this context. But man, that is the thing. We have a mutual friend. You and I used to go to BNI together. His life got just a little tough. And I'm not talking tough. He didn't lose his house. He wasn't homeless. He didn't lose his truck. He went up in the woods and told his family he was going hunting and never came back. And I still hold contempt on that human being. Obviously, he's not human any longer. But I still hold contempt for that friendship, because I'd talked to him about some of the things he was going through. And I'd reminded him of all the blessings that he had. And the only person that he punished during this situation was his son, who was in a very vulnerable spot. He was in a growth part of his life. He was a teenager. And I guarantee you that that's affected his trajectory in a negative way. And that was selfish. That was the most selfish thing a person could do. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, guys. I'm sorry for my curse words.
No.
I just really, this just irks me to no end.
Yeah, I think, I think it needs to be said And I guess I go this route. I guess it's not a guess. It's like I'm going to go this route. Is that we were put on this planet to be leaders, males. And yes, we understand the journey is super, super hard. Women were put to be leaders in a different perspective, whatever that is. They weren't put there to lead the house. Sometimes they are. Sometimes life circumstances put them in that position, and they might be able to carry that for a short amount of time. But at the end of the day, is that short amount of time is for you males to make the adjustments to get back on track, to figure it out and how to do it. It's not fun. It could be emasculating to a certain extent if the wife's running the house, but don't take it for granted or something like that. You've got to constantly work through it. But I think what Brent said is, taking the easy way out, or I can't do this anymore, and it's a male suicide, and we may have listeners that have lost somebody and like, I can't believe you talked about this. Well, it doesn't get talked about because I guarantee you didn't know that we lost over 50,000 guys in the United States last year for suicide, and it just keeps getting brushed underneath the rug. It's a freaking problem.
We got to talk about it.
It sucks, man. I don't want to lose a friend. I don't want to see friends that end a relationship because they're feeling like they're not being heard, or their spouse is beating them up for a little bit and doing some different things. Is this, we've got to figure this out. And then again, this is, I'm going to promote our show a little bit, but we have 106 other episodes that you can go ahead and watch, and you can and help you get some triggers out. You can call Brent, you can call me, you can buy a book, you can go to therapy. There's 1,000 different ways to do shit. But you've got to take the initiative. God made you to be a leader, not to ride on the back of the bus. And even if you're leading from the back, even if you're leading from behind, you are meant to be a leader. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to us. We'll help you do it. But to destroy a relationship, either by leaving it to go to something else that you think is going to be greater and not solving the problem, because another woman or another man, depending on who's leaving the relationship, is not going to solve your freaking problem. And sucking a bullet or drinking yourself to death or overdosing is not going to solve your problem. And so these are the things that we talk about. And I think, it's probably going to push some buttons on some people that maybe lost somebody.
Good.
But we're not here to sugarcoat. This is not, hey, you know what? If you come over here, it's going to be okay. It's not okay, because it's only getting worse. You look around you, what's going on with our political world right now, and what side in this and this side to it, just adds more and more and more and more and more and more and more tension. So it's up to you. It's up to us to start that things of communication, take control back of the relationship, and not in a, like, I am alpha, let me beat my chest. Figure out how to communicate. And women, figure out how to listen. And figure out how not to throw it back in people's faces so that we can go through this, understand it's a process of both sides. So I love Brent's idea. Crucial conversations, that's what it's called, correct?
Yep. Okay. Yep. Crucial conversations.
I love it. 10 minutes. Is 30 minutes of 30 minutes of work gonna kill you? And I'm talking to myself right now. I could use it. I suck at times, a lot. But I also find myself, it's super easy to watch, a 2-hour movie or get lost in. You and I both know, because we send stupid memes back and forth to each other on Instagram, right?
So do what I do. This is a key. This is a tool. I check and process my social media stuff at the top of every hour for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That is the thing I'm trying to hold myself accountable to. And these cool things, I want to run this over with my truck most days. but it is a tool and can be used in a positive way. You can set alerts, so it will tell you how long that you've been on social media every day. And if you're on social media, on the average statistic, 17.6 hours a week the average American spends on social media. 17.6 hours. If you're broke, 17.6 hours could change your trajectory. If you're struggling in a relationship, put 17.6 hours into that relationship. If you don't know how to be a leader, ChatGPT and Google,
right,
with 17.6 hours worth of relevant, you must keep it on topic, searching, and action. If you created 17.6 hours worth of additional action in your life towards anything that you find value in, it's going to change the way that you produce a result in that situation. I promise you. It's struggle for all of us. This thing is designed to keep our attention. It's designed to keep our focus. It's designed to distract us away from things that are important. And I'm not judging, I'm relating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is a tough road to hoe every single day. But you got to keep going. You can't give up. You can't blame it on anybody else. It's your BS.
Mm-hmm.
Own it. Handle it. If you don't have the tools and you can't find the tools, call us.
Mm-hmm. We'll point you in the right
way. Hit
way.
us up in any way.
Yeah.
We will help.
For sure.
Is that where you wanted this to go today, buddy?
1,000%, man. We just saved somebody probably $500 worth of therapy. So what we want you to do in return is actually, this is what and I'm going to speak on behalf of Brent. This is what we would like for you to do is find 3 things in this podcast that really stood out to you that you're going to start working on. And I want you to put those in comments, either of the channels. We're on all spectrums, by the way. I'll just not all spectrums, but all different channels. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. I mean, the list goes on. We'll put that out. When we put this out today, just click on one of them. You're going to find our podcast on it, but it's great. But what I want you guys to do, what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is write down 3 things that you're going to work on in the next 75 days. Like that? Next 75 days, you're going to write them down every day. Today, I'm going to work on these 3 things, and you're going to write those down every single day. Today, I'm going to work on this, number 1, number 2, number 3. The next day, today, I'm going to work on number 1, number 2, number 3. And then after 75 days, it is like in your DNA. I'm going to do it. I know what I'm going to do as soon as I get off this podcast today is some things that I'm going to start implementing to make my relationship better. And then also with that, what you taking the lead on there, not only is it going to enhance your life, your spouse's life, but it's going to give them leadership qualities too, to help you out to get better. So it is a double-edged sword. So when you get better, she gets better. When she gets better, you get better. And it is awesome. I'm excited. I don't want to hear any more people. It's going to happen. We just threw one more starfish out there. The people that have made the decision to leave their relationships are thinking about it. At the end of the day, that's their ride. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be Brent. It's not going to be people that really take the show to heart. As I said, we have smart people that watch this show and that want to learn to get better. And if this is your first time here and you want to get better, again, 106 episodes. There's a couple of them that suck, but most of them are really good.
Mostly because we screwed up the technology, right? So
there. But again, it's 106 other episodes besides this one. This is 107. Go back and watch those. Leave comments in it. Share the show. Use it as leadership tools. If you have to come back for 75 days to watch the same episode, do that. We're in the world of podcasting. It's a lot better than watching MSNBC or CNN or Fox News or social media. I tell you that this podcast, Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, and Alex Hermosi for business purposes, but this is the type of stuff you should be saturating your mind with on top of reading, because we need you as leaders, because not only is it going to make us better, as there are a lot of guys that are younger than this. That's why we call it Old Guys Still Rock. We are engaging you, we are equipping you, and we are empowering you to bring up the next generation, because the generation that is behind us is dying for some freaking leaders to go ahead and step up and not understand that my leadership is on the Kardashians or Summer House or whatever on freaking reality TV.
I don't even know what you just said, buddy. I don't. Can't even relate.
Don't ever go there, dude. You'll become dumb. So, anyways, I think this conversation is good. To the Joe Daniels, who is dedicating their lives to young men over in Europe and doing some different things, Joe. I know we don't say this a lot, and I know we kind of communicate in different ways through messages, different things. Keep doing what you're doing. The Ken McCumbers, I know you're trying to make an impact. The Ednas, the Caitlins, the Gigi Matakos, everyone, the Kyles. I'm not going to forget Kyle, because he's in a culture that needs leadership, and it just has a different walk of life. To my son Christian, he's leading a group of men, and he's building his business. It even gets down to Brent's kids with Lincoln being in a school. There's just so many different types of things. So not only we're engaging you, equipping you, and empowering you. Now it's your turn to take not only what we said or what you read or what you're going to do to be better, and do that for somebody else. And that's how you're going to pay us your therapy cost. So any final words for you?
So I'm going to go a little bit biblical here. It's usually people put this in wedding vows. It's usually somewhere along the lines, and I'm probably going to butcher this quote, but it's something along the lines is that women will be subservient to man, and serve or whatever it is in the wedding vows. I can't remember the exact scenario, but in the Bible, it says that exact same thing. Women will be subservient to man. Everybody always forgets the second part of that verse, and it's the most important part. And the subsequent verses beyond that. So whether you're not religious, whatever, Bible, etc., look it up, because the value is in the principle. And the principle is the following piece of that says, but man will lead with a servant's heart. Men, serve your wives, serve your kids, serve your community. And I promise you, no thoughts of evil, ill will towards yourself or anything else will, unless you have mental issues. Okay. I'll give you that. If you have undeniable mental issues, typically, if you are serving others, there is no way you can be an unhappy person. You can't be angry and smile at the same time. Try it. If you're in an argument with your spouse, force yourself to smile. I promise you, they can't be angry. You can't be angry. They might be mad that you're smiling when they're pissed off. But it won't take long for that to turn.
Right.
But I promise you, if you serve others, 100%. And I'm waving that finger at myself too, guys. So if you serve others, you won't have a bad day. You won't have a bad week. You won't have a bad month. You won't have a bad life. And go make a damn difference. I got to throw that in.
Yep. It's not easy. Every day is just another day.
When were you ever promised life would be easy?
Nothing.
Did you
We're not.
did you get a signed affidavit from God or the president that said life's going to be easy? It's okay.
That's where I go back to, and I'm going to leave. I'm not going to go delve into it because we already said it earlier. But that's what it is being portrayed in society, that life is rainbows and things like that. It's tough work. So every day you wake up is the start of the first day. So just keep working on it. Day one. Everyone's day one.
Yep.
Every day is day one. Every day is day one. So is get it. And as I said, women, when you're watching this, share it with your spouse, share it with somebody who you may know that's struggling in a relationship, but also listen to it as well and make the adjustments that you need to make. Males, we're relying on you to go ahead and make that change. Buy the freaking book. Start a library of books that are going to help you thought provoking, and put down the phone for a little bit. I have a lot of them in my library that here in this office, but I've stemmed away from it. It is a missing void in my soul right now that I am not reading more, and I can feel it in the way that I'm acting. So there's a lot of things to it. Again, most of all, share with us of what your thoughts are about this episode. Share the episode. If you haven't done so, whatever channel you're going to listen to, again, we'll put this into all the things to it. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button. So when we do come up a new episode, which we usually come out on Thursdays or Fridays, you have that. But Brent, thank you so much, brother, for today. Super grateful. 107, dude. We're just starting.
Yeah.
Figure some stuff out. But you guys have a great week. Make those changes that you need to make. Again, don't forget to leave us a comment in one of the channels that you're watching on. I know I said that a lot, but it's super important for us to get this show out, especially right now with how men are suffering. We need to take care of them, and they need a platform that they can feel that there's an opportunity then for them to make a difference, and there is. So we love you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. But most of all, God bless, guys. Take care.